In the previous part, we studied wheel and rim construction, the three rim types DC, WDC, and WDCH, how to read the rim code, and the rim materials. Now we come to the last section, 1.8, Road Vehicle Classification. In this section, you will meet the ISO 3833 classification with 7 groups, the FHWA classification with 13 classes, and the way passenger cars are classified by wheelbase, mass, and body style. The first thing to know is that there is no single global classification standard. The two most important systems are ISO 3833 and the American FHWA. Under ISO 3833, vehicles fall into 7 groups: motorcycles, passenger cars, buses, trucks, agricultural tractors, passenger cars with a trailer, and truck combinations with a trailer or semi-trailer. Figure 1.22 shows a 3-wheeled motorcycle, and Figure 1.23 a 2-door passenger car. FHWA instead classifies vehicles by size and axle count, which we look at on the next slide. The FHWA system divides vehicles into 13 classes by size and axle count. Class 1 is motorcycles, Class 2 passenger cars with or without a 1 or 2 axle trailer, Class 3 other 2-axle 4-tire vehicles such as pickups and vans, and Class 4 buses. Class 5 is single-unit 2-axle 6-tire vehicles, Class 6 single-unit 3-axle, and Class 7 single-unit with 4 or more axles. Classes 8 to 10 are combinations with 1 trailer, split by axle count. Up to 4, exactly 5, and 6 or more. Classes 11 to 13 are multi-trailer combinations, split the same way. Passenger cars are further classified by 3 criteria. By wheelbase, small below 2.5 meters, midsize from 2.5 to 2.8 meters, large above 2.8 meters. By curb weight, light below 1,100 kilograms, midsize from 1,150 to 1,550 kilograms, heavy above 1,600 kilograms. By body style, we have sedan, coupe, convertible, wagon, hatchback, minivan, and SUV. Note the rounding. The wheelbase is rounded to the nearest inch and the curb weight to about 50 kilograms before classifying. Let us summarize Chapter 1. The tire is the only link transmitting force between vehicle and road. Every traction, braking, and cornering force starts there. The code P215, 60, R15, 96H gives the vehicle class, the width, the aspect ratio, the construction, the rim size, the load index, and the speed rating. From it we compute the height h sub t, the overall diameter d as twice h sub t plus the rim diameter, the rim width by the 70 or 85% rule, and we apply the +1 rule. A tire has a bead, an inner liner, a carcass, belts, a sidewall, and a tread. The air pressure tensions the cords to carry the load. A radial tire keeps the tread flat while cornering, clearly better than a bias tire. Hydroplaning has 3 types. The tire print is inversely proportional to pressure. Rims come as DC, WDC, and WDCH. And finally, there are the 3 classification systems. Here are the first 8 review questions. Question 1. Explain each field in the tire code P225, 55, R17, 98V. Question 2. Define the aspect ratio and its effect on ride comfort and handling. Question 3. How to compute the tire height and the overall diameter from the size code. Question 4. The rim width rule for aspect ratio at least 50 and at most 45. Question 5. The load index and the speed rating and the condition under which they are valid. Question 6. The DOT code and how to find the week and year of manufacture. Question 7. The E-mark. Question 8. The UTQG ratings. The remaining 7 questions. Question 9. The +1 rule for a larger rim, and why the overall wheel radius must stay unchanged. Question 10. How under and overinflated tires affect the tire print, the tire temperature, and safety. Question 11. Name the main tire components and their functions, and explain how a tire carries vertical load. Question 12. Compare radial and bias tires under lateral force. Question 13. What hydroplaning is? Its 3 types, and the hydroplaning speed of a tire at 32 psi. Question 14. The tire print and its relation to tire pressure. Question 15. Distinguish the 3 rim types and read the rim code 7.5JJ15. Simulation problem 1.1 asks you to write a MATLAB program that reads a tire code, that is the width, the aspect ratio, and the rim diameter, then computes the tire height, the overall diameter, the radius, and the wheel rotation speed at 100 km per hour. After that, check the +1 rule for 3 interchangeable tire sizes. The sample result is as follows. Tire 205/65 R15 gives an overall diameter of about 634 mm. 225/55 R16 gives 641 mm. And 245/45 R17 gives 640 mm. The spread is under 1.2%, exactly as the +1 rule predicts. That is why the speedometer and the gear ratios stay correct when the rim size changes. Simulation problem 1.2 asks you to plot the hydroplaning speed against tire pressure, with the pressure running from 15 to 45 psi, using equation 1.7, and then mark the point for a tire at 28 psi. The result shows that a more inflated tire has a higher hydroplaning speed and is therefore safer in the rain, because the hydroplaning speed is proportional to the square root of the pressure. Conversely, an underinflated tire both wears out faster and lowers the hydroplaning threshold, which is very dangerous. But you must read the square root relation correctly. Doubling the pressure raises the hydroplaning speed by only about 41%. In other words, you cannot compensate for worn tread by overinflating. That is the end of Chapter 1. Please review the 15 questions and complete the 2 simulation problems. Chapter 2, coming next, will cover straight line motion of the vehicle. See you in the next chapter.